Welcome to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. We're here today in Sacramento, California at Alaro Brewing. With us today, we've got the head brewer, Chris Keeton.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome.
We've also got the chef, Jason Azevedo.
Hey there. How's it going?
Thank you guys so much for coming on here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. Give me a good reason to get out of the brewery and make Ernie clean. Yeah. Now I get to sit here and drink beer with you guys instead.
Hey, man. You gotta clean before you brew.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think that's really true. It's just, it helps. It helps a little bit.
I would say it's everything. It's Sacktown Union has that sign. Cleaning is what you do when you're not brewing, or brewing is what you're doing when you're not cleaning. That's how it goes. Yeah. That is truth.
I've heard ranges from 95 to 99% cleaning is the thing you do.
So my joy is coming from the kitchen. I've been cleaning up my own kitchen, professional kitchens, working my way into brewing. Cleaning is just what you do. So it's almost fun.
I will sign you up for more hours.
You're just jealous. I get to listen to my own music and my brewery and just clean and make beer.
Yeah, usually when we're cleaning, it's aftermath.
Yeah, it's a very different clean.
So yeah, guys, how's business here at Alaro?
Oh man, things have been fun.
We're getting there. It's like little by little. Every weekend just seems to be more heads, more faces, and then you notice 2 weeks later, hey, that guy's been here 3 times. Hey, we're getting regulars.
Exactly. No, it's fun to see people come in and be like, oh, I didn't realize you guys were here. And that's kind of the joys of Midtown. There's all these little businesses under the trees. Every little nook and cranny of Midtown has something now. Now we happen to be in a location that's been a brewery for a very long time. So it's fun to be bringing new people into Midtown and finding a new voice for this location. As well as still being able to put out, great beer and great atmosphere.
Ditto. No.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Midtown. Rubicon was here for 30 years.
That's right.
Now we have Urban Roots. We have Alaro. We have Big Stump down the street. You have New Helvetia. Oak Park's gone, but still, you've added like almost double the actual breweries in Midtown.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Somebody's going to do exactly what we did here to Oak Park. There's equipment, there's a restaurant, there's a kitchen there, and I hope that somebody sees what we did here to be able to clean it up, to modernize it, to make it more efficient and
level up.
Yeah, exactly.
And revamp that menu
all the way.
Yeah,
completely different.
Yeah, we all love brewery food. We have burger, we have fish and chips, we have in the summer the fish taco, fries. But at the same time, we're trying to push a new level, a new different experience, especially with the small plates, which just lets us play with in our area. What Sacramento produces so much, let's throw it out there. Let's have fun, get a flight of beer, get some tapas, and just kick back and spend some time and really have a great time, Make friends and drink beer. What's wrong with that?
And what is your kind of goal with your menu creation as far as that goes, Jason?
I think I just hit it. It's it's about shareable, being shared. It's about community, and it's about having fun. It's going to be delicious.
Yeah, I wish I had a menu right in front of me. I know I've been here a few times, and always order something different each time. It's all been phenomenal, but I don't remember any of the dishes.
We've been open just about 6 months, and you're already on your 4th menu. Right?
Oh, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sacramento. There's 8 seasons, guys. The burger with fondue sauce is not going anywhere. Fish tacos will be back come the spring. For all the people that wanted to chase me down with pitchforks when we changed that. But now they're loving fish and chips.
Yeah. Those small bites are phenomenal.
Yeah, they have to carry a bunch of flavor. You want to have something that, we're next to the Water Boy. Rick and Adam, great friends, mentors in Sacramento. Patrick Mulvaney down the street. Press with David English. Why can't we be up there with that food? I have a fine dining background. Just because we're in a brewery, we're going to have casual food, but we're going to bring technique, we're going to use the great ingredients, and we're going to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. That's really the goal, is have fun. Because you can get burnt out just slopping burgers and fries all day.
Yeah. It's been exciting to see that too, to see that kind of next echelon of food come out of the kitchen. It's a small kitchen, so people that know the location know you don't have a lot of space, and the smoker running out back, coming out with specials for that. Everything's always seasonal, everything's fresh, and the small plates. there's no better way to share food than tapas style. You know, and it's not your traditional. You know, the papas bravas and the gambas are they're pretty close, but I think you still definitely put your twist on it. And
Ray and Annette had a kind of a vision with the format with the small plates and tapas for places they had been, and I just said, okay, we'll give some tapas, we'll have some traditional, but we're not going to compete with aioli or top of the world with Spanish. That's not my background, but we're going to just be seasonal and fun. And that's, where we're going.
We use that word inspired.
Inspired.
Yes.
Tapas-esque.
Yeah. I mean, Ray and Ed, they're Spanish backgrounds, which is where the name Alaro comes from. You know, Jason Azevedo, my mom's side is Hispanic, and I come from the Southwest. So those flavors are everything to us. But then it's more about that table. Everything on the table is, we know who made it. We know where it came from. And I try to bring that into the beer as well. You know, we're using locally grown hops, working with hop farmers to find the varieties that are grown in this region, which has been growing hops for hundreds of years, which a lot of people know.
A couple of fallow seasons, but
yeah. I mean, that's the nature of any commodity based industry, right?
Yeah.
But then things like what Admiral Malting is doing out at Alameda, and I actually just had a pallet of the Feldblum malt dropped off yesterday. This is a UC Davis derived variety that is drought resistant, no-till soil, like the future of brewing malt. Shit. And I mean, it's a pale malt, and so it'll be fun to see how it stacks up to a Chris Pale or a Raw Turo, or even the Vireman Pils is a great base grain for multiple styles of beers, and so just being able to use those ingredients make it that much more fun. And obviously Jason pushing that in the kitchen makes it fun to push it in the brewery. And then, but in fairness, it's harder to do in the brewery because we don't have quite as many variety as brewing materials as you do food materials. But,
well, yeah, unlimited. Sacramento produces everything. So what do I want? Okay, what farmer do I want to call? It's like, you want to know the pig? Here's the dossier on it. We could do that,
Right.
But, they have to make a batch of beer and see how it turns out. So that's a little different on the experimental level.
Right.
Whereas,
that is the joys of this system. So this brewery, this building's been producing beer for 30 plus years. The system is what the system is. It's an old school single step mash infusion. There's really not a whole lot of fine tuning. I mean, obviously I'm the brewer, so I'm downplaying it because it's just a beautiful system that runs itself as long as it's running. Right?
Yeah.
You gotta knock it in the right corner. You gotta sometimes the hose isn't long enough. Whatever.
Speak softly to it. We're gonna brew for the next 3 days, baby.
Oh man,
treat me right.
It used to be even more fun. CO2 leaks everywhere, and the kettle leaked, and the burner you had. Like Han Solo style, you had to hit the Millennium Falcon in the right area just to get the burner to start. We fixed those problems.
Good.
And so that's nice. And
modernization.
Yeah. Well,
efficiency is key.
Yeah, we shut down for 7 months and took everything apart and got to rebuild it. That alone was what this building needed. And so, to continue to produce beer out of here, and shameless plug, bringing home a gold medal doesn't hurt. Yeah.
A what?
A gold medal.
From where? Yeah.
Just this little gathering in Denver.
Does it start with a GA?
Ends with a BF.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A BF.
And it was like what kind of metal was it?
It's a shiny gold one, baby.
Shiny gold one. Yeah. That's losing value, I heard.
For our house beer, and so to me that's.
And what beer is that?
Our Castillo IPA. No, and obviously we're extremely proud of that. That's our house beer. When Ray and I got together and we talked about what the perfect beer was, you'd be a fool to not think about the Rubicon IPA. This system, this building breeded that beer. And so part of us was being able to honor the past and be able to make a beer similar to that. We did tweak it. Made some changes to it. Obviously, I'm not running out the same recipe. And we've got a lot of people here that have been drinking in this building for 30 years, and they'd call me out in a heartbeat, like, you're just recreating everything. But you also can't turn your back on that history. And Cascade and Chinook belong in a West Coast IPA.
Yeah, 100% do.
Yeah, like you're doing it wrong if you're brewing a West Coast IPA without those two hops. Now, I do believe that 5-10 years ago there was a very real shift in what that IPA is.
Yes,
which is why we have our Avenida. So I call it a San Diego style, and to me, still very much a West Coast IPA. That is as West Coast as any Rubicon or Lagunitas or Sierra, Torpedo would be. But that new age, so more tropical versus citrus and resin, and lighter malt bill, higher alcohol versus that malt backbone. I feel like you can't blend the two. Those are two just different styles, right? That's 70s rock versus today's kids music, whatever that is.
It's still music.
It's still music. I mean, sure.
On a scale.
Maybe there's a better analogy.
Slowly mumble into a fan, and I'll record you.
Yeah, but you play it loudly with 1,000 people. It's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So same thing, and
when that malt drops, though.
When that
new beer name.
That's I was gonna say dibs.
Malt drop.
Yeah. Yes. Too many ideas. Ideas coming right there. But and so and my style of beer is also very much what that Rubicon was. The classic styles done well.
Yeah.
And so
that interplay of hops and malts that's kind of lost. Where it's like overpowering is what the key is now. But we're like, no, I like that interplay.
Well, and the system does that. There's nothing I can do to make a beer like Fieldwork or like Modern Times. This system has a style to it. And as a brewer, I would behoove myself to play within that, and understanding what we're doing, and then we're new, right? So I don't have any sours or anything like that on right now, but we're also young, and I'm extremely limited on space, and so I'm able to fill my tanks doing the beers that we know we want to drink, and that we can pair well with food and have that full dining experience versus chasing a trend. Now that by no means does that mean that we'll never chase that trend, but
you're still a business.
Of course, yeah.
We're gonna you gotta have fun. Same thing we do in the kitchen sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a dish and bam, it's off. Sometimes off and running, trying to keep up with it. Next thing you know, it's like, hey, we got to reprint. Limited release.
Yeah, and that's the joys. I mean, we're at that 6-month mark. We've kind of we've hit the pedal to the metal in a couple different directions, and we've seen what the new engine can do, as it were. So now we're able to settle in and see, SF Beer Week's coming, Sacramento Beer Week is coming up, Bacon Fest is coming up, Art of Beer is coming up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool things. I mean, and so, in Midtown, this is the dead season of Midtown right now, the holidays. Yeah, everyone's spending their money elsewhere, and we're not seeing that happen this year, which is really exciting. We've got parties after parties. I mean, as soon as we finish this up, we've got 40 people coming in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it keeps going.
Yeah.
We still have room, so book your party now.
Hey.
Is there a special party menu that people should be aware of?
We actually have some large format options that we can do, or we can twist our menu. Believe it or not, even out of that small kitchen, we are very nimble.
Yeah. When Jason works 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, he can come up with new menus all the time.
Is that what I'm doing?
Now, is it because your brain's just melted and you're like, this thing seems like it'll go together? It's been 70 hours.
No. No brain melt. I think it was already damaged beforehand. The customization to the business. No, but, we have a small kitchen. We have fun there. I have my smoker. It's small. It's on a boat trailer. So it gives us our little auxiliary kitchen out back.
Yeah. Now I have a quick chicken v. egg question. Which is more important? Are you pairing beer with food or food with beer?
Well, I think I'll say it one way.
Bridged that question
yet. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of. I think that's actually the fun part. So him and I both have extremely big personalities, and so neither one of us are. So we came home with that gold medal, And that just pushed Jason that much harder, And so then, SF Eater mentions Jason and not me, and that pushes me that much harder, And so
twice.
Shh. Yeah.
Well, it
that
is an SF
harder.
Drinker, so why are you offended?
Yeah.
It's an eater.
No,
it's
by
for
no
eaters. It's for eaters.
Offended is not the right word. It's more of that, fire in the pants, and that's definitely that competitive aspect, But I mean, our customers are the only ones that are going to benefit from that.
It's rough. Rough for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring your big boy pants. Drink up, eat up. Decide which is best. Decide your own pairings.
That's true.
I recommend copious flights in small plates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Mix and match till you find something you enjoy.
There you go.
And then have 12 people tell you you're wrong and 14 tell you you're right.
And then totally fuck them all off and get a growler to take home.
Yeah. And it's a go
Easy
order
enough.
for your favorite tapas, of course. Of course.
See? Food guys selling the beer, huh?
Yeah.
I got him. I win.
I'm a big fan of all of that stuff.
Nice.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you said earlier. There's a malt that was designed by UC Davis.
Yeah.
And it's designed to be like basically weather doesn't affect it, time doesn't affect it type.
I would say it's the next generation of barley research, and so I'm an alum of the UC Davis Extension program, and so the knowledge and food base. I mean, this Northern California, right? We're in the valley. We have all of everything you could need in this industry, right? And so now it's our, we have the ability to be able to share that with everybody, and to me, it's that much better. So during that program, I was able to go out to some of these barley fields. So we're talking like 2015. So this barley that's back there, this malt that's back there, I was able to see as barley, fields of barley. And UC Davis is doing the research and working with the farmers to see, what the soil can produce. Admiral Malt is huge on this on their no-till soil, and so by not tilling the soil at the end of each harvest, they're able to have a more nitrogen-rich soil, which can produce more protein in the malt, but if you modify it properly, then it will balance itself out. So these guys approach that knowing that's happening. So we're still getting a beautiful quality ingredient, but then the drought resistant, so it doesn't need as much water, and
which is important in California for some reason.
Because it keeps flowing to the ocean, right? There's tons of reasons that we could point our fingers out towards that without changing the genre of your podcast.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I always change the genre. We've talked cannibalism. It's fine.
What do you mean? Inconvenient Truth Part 2.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm wondering is, do you know how many generations they've made of that particular?
Oh man, I couldn't.
Barley?
Well, I mean, I saw this barley in 2015.
Okay, so it's been a few years.
And I imagine that there was plenty of small batch, grows before that.
Yeah.
Well, didn't your Admiral Malting had like batch 88 or something that they've received or something?
This was their. This one was their 86th batch of 18. I think that more has to just do with their batches as total, not necessarily this Feldblum malt. And I know this is a rare malt because I was trying to get my hands on it, and Ron Silverstein was like, "Sweet, buy it now." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not ready." And then I'm not ready. And then he goes, "I'm going to sell it. Like, if you're ready, I'll send it to you. If not, I'm selling it to somebody else." Like, I'll catch the next batch. And then sure enough, like, hey, next batch is ready. Hey, I'm ready. And so it was perfect,
Okay, good. I'm always like, well, is the generational degradation going to happen, or are they going to be consistent with a new product? You don't know. Like, if it's been a few years though, you've pretty much proven it's going to be pretty consistent year to year, season to season.
It's better than what we're using right now,
Good.
And so I think it's the more and more we can learn about those ingredients, the longer that this is going to be a viable business, And so there's a lot of doomsday stuff about the industry of barley and hops and production and what it could do with the cost of beer, and those are all very real things to look at. And luckily we are pretty small, so our costs are still pretty low. That being said, there's economy of scale, right? That's a very true comment. So, and we want to grow as a business. The beer I'm making right now, hopefully I'm making more next year and more the year after that and more the year after that. At the same point, I only have so many fermenters. I only have so many bright tanks. I only have so many kegs. So what is that growth for our company? Is it more about the restaurant? Is it more about production? So when you ask the question, how's business? My mind goes right to that. Like, how can I sell more beer? But it's also about an organic growth. I can't outpace my ingredients either, because then I'm just back to using raw two-row, which is a fantastic malt. I use it in almost every beer. It has at least a bag of raw two-row because it is a beautiful, cost affordable ingredient, and I can use it. I can use only that and make a fantastic beer with it. But I also want to support local, and so finding the navigation of that is the whole fun. That I feel like that's my sour, that's my hazy, is using local ingredients, using fresh hops, working with hop farmers, working with guys like Ron, working with UC Davis to continue making just solid beer-flavored beer.
Beer-flavored beer?
Yeah, that's a Scott Kremlett thing. He taught me that. And I hold true to it. Beer-flavored beer,
What does that mean?
I mean, so a perfect example of it is
no bubblegum beer.
Yeah, well, is the
you can get that from a number of sources.
Yeah. If you use the right yeast, if you do it on purpose, if it tastes like bubblegum, you're doing it wrong.
Just throw like a couple of pounds of koji in a tank, see what happens. You'll get Smarties flavors right away.
Yeah. No, the beer flavored beer comes from, and so it was actually the Rubicon hop sauce double IPA, and then we did the grapefruit hop sauce. And Scott was an old school brewer, and I was like, "You want to do what to what?" And so we're like, "Yeah, we're just going to pick all these fresh grapefruit, zest them, throw the zest into the ferment, or transfer on top of it, and just call it good." And he was adamantly against it, and we fought and we pushed, and his solution was, all right, well, beer flavored beer. If you're going to put grapefruit in the beer, you still have to taste the beer. And so, meaning the malt backbone, the hop character that brings it itself, not just pith and juice. And I think you can apply that to any flavoring that you add. You have to have a balanced malt profile, hop balance, before you can ever do anything else to that beer. And people have gotten super crafty over the years in all kinds of different ways, and in stainless and in oak and in fooders. And
you like pastry beer and donut beer?
Yeah, I mean, man, if it tastes good, it tastes good. That's all you could say. That being said, in my UC Davis class, we had a saying that it has to taste good here, and so touching our heart. We have to feel good about making it. You can make beer with just chemical compounds and mix it in a beaker, stir it up, add some carbonated water. It will be beer, and your average drinker won't tell the difference. But it won't taste good here, And we were adamant on that. Our pretty little jackets even have the logo on it. Must taste good here.
That's awesome.
That's so cute.
It was, yeah.
So,
2015. Woo woo.
I see your little jacket that hit the floor because it's too big for you.
Hey, easy.
I guess you're asking the existential question of 2018-2019 coming up soon. What is beer?
What is beer?
Beer-flavored beer.
Beer-flavored beer.
But sometimes it's not flavored like beer, and it's still beer.
I know. Oh man, what is the next craze? Man, I think it's just more of the same, bigger and better.
Yeah.
I think it's knowing what you make, knowing your style, and selling it properly. And to me, that's where we can get better, telling that story and being good about what we're brewing, when we're brewing it, what ingredients we're using.
Grilled cheese beer.
That sounds like a lot of things could go terribly wrong in the process.
We'll use the sourdough for the malt background.
Okay, yeah.
That's why Jason cooks and I make the beer.
Yeah. But what are we going to do with this cheese?
Don't worry about it.
Is this going to be like a French onion soup where you kind of put it over top and you just sip through it?
No, we're going to whiz it out.
Oh, God.
This guy makes his own Velveeta. Makes his own American cheese, man.
In that kitchen, because we can.
Some people would ask you how. I'm going to ask you why.
Okay.
Why
So
not?
take great mild cheddar. Actually, it's a sharp cheddar.
No, I didn't ask
provolone.
Yeah, he wants to know.
Brown
why.
butter.
I just want to know why you would do this.
Because I can.
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of those guys, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, might as well try.
I mean, if we're gonna have a grill, there were some things from like some of the old Rubicon.
So you want that really melted.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like the like
pull
American,
apart.
American, like,
Yeah, the craft singles commercial.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, the craft beer singles commercial. And
No.
we can't. You're not allowed to say that. I'll say it because I'm not you guys.
Yeah.
You can't say it. I can say it.
No.
I'm secretly working on a beer cheese recipe, so
Yeah.
like Kentucky beer cheese,
Yeah, I'm all for it.
pimento
Okay.
spread with beer.
For it.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
the,
on
the
board.
Bennett
for that.
Pale Ale would be perfect for that.
Ah, the Bennett.
The Bennett.
The Bennett.
What's the Bennett?
It's named after my little newborn boy. He was born the same month that we opened this restaurant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it still a newborn? It's like a
It's
infant
6 months.
now.
I think
months,
it's still.
dude.
I think it's still
I don't have
fairly-
kids. I have like
I don't
40
know the
He's
rules
not
employees.
either.
walking.
Yeah.
He's not walking. He's not. Yeah, he might be an infant now. Today, he is 6 months.
You
He
don't
is
even know your own son.
Hey, easy, Tiger.
Well, yeah, we already established that when I walked up, and you're like, "What beer is that?" I'm like, "I'll let you guess."
It looked like Castillo from afar. I saw it with more brown hues, not amber. I caught it.
Didn't even recognize his own son. That's how hard Chris Keeton works over here.
Silence.
No comment.
I'm sorry.
Sons-
There's no
sons
recovery
of-
from that.
Sons of
Oh,
something.
don't worry. 2019 is going to be good for Chris.
Oh man,
He's barely going to see his family. We'll have to visit him in the brewery.
I
as
just
he's
can't wait. I can't wait till that kid
floors.
can walk and he can start squeegeeing those floors. Man, that's all I've been thinking about for like 6 months. You know, he's so close too. He's already standing like
I think
on his
about
own.
8 months, really.
Yeah, they say I don't think he'll be walking for a year. That's what they say, or at a year until a year for another 6 months, whatever.
So you had a pretty busy first couple days here. I'm gonna guess.
Or
like
the full,
maybe
the full
the full
timeline,
6
right?
months. Yeah, the full
so
6 months has probably
the full-
been pretty.
The last year, yeah. I mean, September 15th of 2017 was the last day of the Rubicon, and so from then to the end of the year was, working with Glenn on shutting it down. You know, as much as that means, turning everything off. The last of the beer, we had a bunch of going away parties,
Yep.
as it were. We had, it was a very incredible time, as it were. But then moving on from then, getting to meeting Ray and Annette through the process, and so I was working with some other people and other restaurateurs here in town, trying to purchase the place myself, which then
Nice.
would have meant having a newborn boy and $1 million of debt.
Yeah.
Because
Ideal combination.
yeah, exactly. And then that's when I got to know Ray and Annette, and it was like, well, what do you think of the space? I'm like, well, this is what works, this is what doesn't, this is what's old, this is what's new.
Chris comes with the building.
I came
Yeah.
with the building, yeah.
I
And
mean-
so yeah, the landlord hired me on as the building manager.
Okay.
So in between Rubicon and Alaro, I mean, I still had keys. I would bring people in like through the auction. We'd come in and look at the equipment and check things out and look at the building and all kinds of whatnot. And yeah, I come with the building, right? And so then Ray and Annette won the building through auction, bought the space and all the equipment. Got the new lease. The landlord said that he wouldn't give anybody a lease to a brewery unless I was a part of it. Which then Ray said, "Well, we already hired him, but thanks for thinking highly of it." So like right from the get go, all of that, like, oh man, I better bring it.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Right.
On you.
Yeah, and then we had to take it apart. Right. We had to disassemble everything. We had to move tanks around. We had to. We redid the floors. We brought in a new kettle. We couldn't. The 10 barrels that are back there are originals. They were built in Tijuana, Mexico, in the 80s, and so I was afraid to tip them on their side because we've had problems with one of them. The glycol jacket broke. We had to have a guy come in and cut into the skin and find the leak and re-weld and pressure test and all this and that. So my thought of laying those tanks down was no, like we can't move them. So we hung them from the ceiling, We reinforced the ceiling and physically hung them from the ceiling so that we could get a squeegee of new floor material under the legs, let it cure and everything, and then drop the tanks. I mean, it was ridiculous, and then tearing out the carpet, tearing out the tile, painting everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh God, cleaning the kitchen, tearing apart the old kitchen. There was so redoing. I'm officially an FRP pro. The fiberglass resin boards. I'm crafty. I'm by no means a carpenter by any means. Yeah. I'm a measure 4 times, cut 7 kind of guy. Yeah. You're like, this is close. Oh, let me go buy another piece.
Yeah.
Save that one for later.
Yeah, I learned my lesson very quickly. Our general contractor was not very forgiving, so I stopped making mistakes very quickly. But
Russell's a kind soul.
Yeah.
Well, I like to think of it as like a rustic appearance
in here.
To the mistakes you've made. They just add some authenticity,
they add
realness.
They add culture.
Yeah.
Culture. Yeah, like I said, I come with the building.
Yeah. Like, this is an old building that's going to have warts. Here they are. They're new, but we can say they're old.
Right. That makes that gold medal even better. That it really was a beer that meant everything, and it was my 4th brew on the system that was rebuilt, and so yes, it's the same system, but when you take apart a car and rebuild the car. You built the car,
right.
So I definitely take a lot of pride in that. At the same point, knowing the people that came before me, put all the pieces there.
Yeah, I mean, because you didn't rebuild the car. Like, we took the parts out, then we put them exactly back with nothing new.
See, but I rebuilt all the gas. I rebuilt
modernization is key.
Every utility that comes in: power, water, gas. Both gas, as in natural gas, CO2, oxygen. All of those things have been modernized and definitely built so that if and when we grow, either by barrelage or physically adding new tanks, then the structure's there to do. The infrastructure is there to do so. And I feel like that's everything. That's the whole point of me coming with the building, is that I knew where that water nozzle needed to be, and I knew what pressure needed to come out of that. And now we have 80 psi water flow coming out of that water hose, so I'm able to wash my tanks properly and not run out of hot water, and then not affecting the kitchen, so that the kitchen can use hot water to wash your hands or do whatever the kitchen.
No one needs that. It's all good.
Yeah. I've heard the jury's out on whether or not hot water is important in a kitchen.
Overrated.
Yeah. Because
health department feels otherwise.
Hey, you. Do you love craft beer? Do you love craft beer brewed and bottled here in Northern California? Well, if you do, we got a magazine for you. ABV Magazine is the only local print publication covering Northern California's amazing craft beer and spirits community. Each issue features behind-the-bottle conversations, reviews, booze-based destinations, and a comprehensive guide to breweries, tap rooms, bottle shops, and distilleries in Northern California. You can sign up for only $1 a month and have each issue delivered right to your front door. Check it out at abvmagazine.com. And from all of us here at ABV Magazine, cheers and thanks for supporting local craft beer. That's abvmagazine.com, alcohol by volume.
I made this comment to my nanny. Yes, we have a nanny. If you can.
Well, you got to. I mean, you told us what happened.
He's a baller.
I'm like big time, man. I got a nanny. Comes to the house. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it came with the good metal or not.
I guess the important question there is, what does your wife do?
Oh man, my wife.
So
I'm telling you, man, my wife is gold. She works at the Mind Institute, so she's a research coordinator, and so she works with kids with developmental disabilities, and she focuses on Fragile X, Down syndrome, and autism, and so the Mind Institute has a plethora of services for families that have kids with disabilities. Her thing's all about telehealth, and so being able to handle everything via like Skype, and so now you're able to empower the parent to be able to be the interventionalist into the study versus somebody coming into the home and it being this whole to do that takes you. So then that kid might be great during that process, but But now she's
Once
able
they
to be like
leave, yeah.
a bug in the ear kind of thing and empower the parent to empower the kid. Just another one of those, technology meeting the world and her seeing an opportunity at it.
That's awesome. I always said it as a pot shot to the fact that brewers make nothing. That was the,
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
that's great.
I get to drink for free. That helps. Yeah. that keeps my expenses low.
Yeah, definitely balance book and check.
Yeah.
I get to do this because my wife works for the state.
Yeah.
She's only, risk management for CalPERS.
My wife's still technically a grad student, so it'll pay off eventually.
Sounds
But
good.
we're doing okay. We're doing
Doctor, paging doctor.
Paging Dr. Bullard. Dr. Bullard. Yeah, when we got married, she kept her last name. She's like, well, I'm already published like 4 times.
Yeah, you can't
That's
restart.
Fair. That's fair. Your name means something.
So you're a traditionalist. She didn't take her name.
Not that traditional.
Yeah. I was feeling like if I had a daughter,
I'm
I
the
would
last Keaton, man. Well, not anymore. Bennett. I guess I could change now. As long as Bennett stays as a Keaton, the Keaton name can live on.
Then you'd have to explain to why you had a different name.
You're right. I'll just
be stubborn. It's better.
Lars.
This goes on all day.
I'm waiting for all the explanations. I don't.
Nice.
It's kind of funny. It was like when we were doing construction, I think I had some new equipment, and Chris is like, I'm going to be taking this. I'm like, back off. It's mine. It's like, I'm the little brother. I take things. I just grabbed him by the belt strap. I'm like, I'm the big brother.
I keep you from taking things.
How do you want to play this?
I'm quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'm fast for a fat man.
And you learn from all
I'll
his
give you
mistakes.
that. I'll give you that. But you are fast for a fat man, actually. Just saying.
All I need is 2 steps.
It's,
Gravity does the rest.
Yeah. At least I get to close the door and hide in the brewery, listen to my music.
it's nimble, I believe is the
Coming
word you
upstairs.
want.
Nimble.
Yeah.
Nimble. Yeah.
Nimble's my word.
Nice. Touche.
All right, so we've learned a lot about Chris. Jason, you're still a mystery to the world.
Well, maybe to the brewing public at
Yeah.
large. I'm a
Yeah.
mystery, but yeah.
Nice.
What do you want to know?
Well, first, I think it's easy to start. You said you've worked in the fine dining world before coming over here.
Yes.
In what way?
Well, let's see. I was chef de cuisine of the Grange at the Citizen Hotel.
Oh, it's delicious.
Hawk Farm, Craft and Provisions, Mighty
Excellent.
Tavern. Worked in Napa for Up and Down, was one of the sous chefs that opened Press in St. Helena. Was a chef in South Mendocino County of the Harbor House Inn. Kind of known for timeless luxury on the Mendocino coast. A couple wineries here and there. So, cut my teeth in the Bay Area. And
Didn't you start a salumi company, too?
Yeah, I tried to get that going. So I had an underground meat company for a while.
Nice.
Literally doing meetups, and I think I did a couple at Rubicon.
Yeah, well, so I heard about Jason before I met him, and it was one of those. So Ray and Annette talked about having Jason come in, and I asked some of the regulars here, like, hey, have you heard of Jason Azevedo? And oh yeah, I used to buy bacon from him, like backdoor deal. Like you should just hand it to me, like wrapped in paper out of Old Soul on Weatherstone. It was just like this guy just handed you like a pound of bacon. They're like unsliced, and I was just like, Jesus Christ!
So you could get
Awesome.
as much thick or thin as you wanted?
Yeah,
As thick as my hand would slice it.
yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
They
yeah,
can go
so-
home and slice it the way they want.
I do meetups, so I'd come up with a menu and be like, okay, I got like 2 pigs coming.
Now,
This
when
is
you
how
say
much sausage.
meetup, is that with an A or no A?
Oh, with an A.
Okay.
Nice.
I'd
I
literally
didn't
like
think
go to
about that.
Pangea or a
Shit.
coffee house, or a couple of times Rubicon. People meet here, they buy 2-3 beers, they take their package to go. Good times.
So, like, I remember, like, 70s, like, spy thrillers that I was walk up with a gun in the newspaper. Like, no, it's meat. It's meat in there.
Oh, it's sausage.
Got a rolled newspaper. It's,
The Valentine's promo was great. Cupid's bringing a foot long.
I can't condone this.
It was a hot dog too.
Oh, I got it.
We all got it,
Yeah.
Jason. Hey, that's kind of the point. We get it. Dude. yeah. I just took your thunder. Yeah.
I just want to point out that so far, contextually, it sounds like you were just giving meat away. I'm sure they provided you funds for
Oh,
such
it was
things.
compensated for you.
Yeah, okay. I just
It
making
was
sure.
technically
nothing's free.
It was
It's like
technically
you just go
it
to
was
the alley and he just hands you a bag of meat. You're like, all right.
it was
Sounds good.
technically organized as a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture, and so I would work with some local farms, literally buy 1 to 3 pigs and have them process them at USDA slaughterhouse. And then I would break them down into cured meat, sausages, some market cuts, and go from there. I had a small mailing list of 1,000 people.
It's very tiny.
Yeah, so it was fun. Did pop-up dinings,
Oh, nice.
Eventually, I needed more room, so I built my smoker. It's small. It's on a boat trailer. You can only put 2 pigs on it for roasting.
Oh, man. Two pigs, though, right?
Yeah.
I cooked, we did Thanksgiving dinner here, and so I used his smoker for the turkeys, and we did the, spatchcock, right?
Yeah, spatchcock.
Yeah, so we did 4 spatchcock turkeys. They were like 24 pounds apiece.
Still had room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
2 hams on top. Yeah, man, it was awesome. Yeah, comfortably laid out.
Oh yeah,
turkeys.
I'm like that had plenty of room,
dude. We probably could have fit like 6 or 8 full birds. On that
very
thing.
relaxed birds.
Oh man, it was.
I could see a dozen if you use the top rack.
It was delicious. yeah. There you go. Yeah.
That sounds delicious. What would you say your forte is, though?
That's a hard one. I mean, I have a propensity for pork.
Nice. Beautiful.
Let's just put it that
for
way.
the love of the pig.
Love of the pig.
Yeah, with the very first time I laid eyes on this guy, he's wearing this. What was your pig shirt, your bacon shirt? It says I don't want to say it says.
I got about 50 of them, so you have to help me out.
It was the red one. It was the red one with the pig. And I broke it down to like something. I love bacon, or I don't know.
Yeah. No, it was just I think it said pork on it with the pig on it.
Something like that. And I just remember looking up and being like, this big ass dude wearing a bacon shirt. Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah. I also technically am the only 2-time Bacon Fest Grand Champion. So
oh shit,
they wouldn't let me compete anymore.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Propensity for pork.
Once I think of a terrible pun, I need to put it out in the world. So anybody who's shirt makers for bacon shirts, it's like you'll have your bacon when pigs fry.
Touche.
2X tall preferred.
I'm a schmedium.
That's my clothing line.
Bacon Fest is coming up again, right?
It is.
In fact, we're going to be hosting one of the events officially on that that week.
Yeah.
Just lined that up today.
We did, yeah.
Maybe we even have
we're talking about a beer, yeah. All the talk right now. We've only started talking about it today, but yeah, we want to do a Bacon Fest beer. I don't know if do we use smoked malt? Do we go that corny? Like you kind of have to.
You kind of have to. But do you want to just play up the saltiness though?
That's good, and then an IPA, play off that spice and that saltiness and the good fattiness from all kinds of. But maybe we make our own bacon, and the ingredients that we use in the bacon we use in the beer as well.
Right. You can do candied bacon, which allows you to use some malts and things like that to get a little sweetness.
I've never made bacon before. Please show me these ways.
I think you can figure it out.
Okay.
I have faith. One of my favorite pints I've ever had was at a brewery called Trinity I think it's in Boulder. It's definitely the Denver area. Gets kind of a blur in that area after a while. So it was a nitro smoked porter. Smoke was extremely subdued, and it came with a cone of bacon, like half-inch thick sliced bacon. So like big enough to hold, and it stayed erect. And then the little thing had
spatchcocking, erect. What's going on here?
It's delicious. And then it came with a little thing of maple syrup. And so you had a nitro porter with bacon half-inch thick, dipping it in syrup. Just fantastic.
I'm on board for it.
It was fantastic. I'm not saying that that's what we're making. But that was fun.
I've been known to do a pulled bacon slider.
A pulled
like think pulled
cider.
pork, but with
But with pork belly instead?
With bacon. Yeah, just think about it.
I'm listening.
Or this thing called bacon wings that we've done.
Bacon wings. Oh, dude.
Bacon confit. Make sure you use duck butter, bacon fat to confit them. Calabrian chili oil, bacon marmalade, blue cheese.
Yes, please. See, the hard part, that just goes with beer.
Like flavored beer.
Name your style of beer. That goes well with beer. And I think it's just because everybody wants bacon.
Well, what you could do is you could taint a beer and get that egg out of it, bacon and eggs. You just do that.
Could do that too. Could do
Don't-
that.
I'm not.
I'm not putting eggs in beer, but we could do that.
Just imagine a little sulfuric beer. Everybody loves that, I'm sure.
Until afterwards.
I think they probably hated it right at the beginning.
I'm pretty sure right away. Yeah.
There's some that'll take a pint for just the cause of it.
That's true.
A hint of sulfur in a lager is not unpleasing, but sulfuric is not what you want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking forward to. Things like that. More bacon fests, more art of beer, more finding just fun reasons and good excuses to just keep doing what we're doing, and this beautiful space to share it in. Yeah, nice closer, huh?
Yeah, too bad we're still going. All right, the important question.
Cut that and play that at the end.
Oh, no. I'm going to leave you hanging on
There
it.
you go. Good.
So usually I would ask, how did you get into beer? What's your big beer that got you in?
The big beer that got me in. So I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and so anybody that knows me knows that I wear that with pride. Got it tattooed on my arm. Got Zias all over the brewery. The Marble Red. A brewery in New Mexico. Yeah, he's got bacon and eggs on his arm. Yeah.
No eggs, just the pig.
Yeah, we wear our heart on our sleeve, literally. Right. The Marble Red, just beautiful beer. Simcoe, Amarillo, a little bit of Centennial. So hop forward with just that beautiful malt caramel toffee character to it. Hop forward, so it's still citrusy and it's got a little bit of a bite. I actually have a red ale coming out very, very soon.
Thank you.
Nice plug.
Can't wait.
Our holiday beer we're calling Balthazar, which is one of the three kings from the nativity scene.
Nice.
In Spain, the tradition is that you put your shoes out on the patio, and the three kings come through your town and fill your shoes with gifts, similar to stocking stuffers. So our gift to you this year is the Balthazar Holiday Red. And I feel like in this region, the Holiday Red is what is supposed to be. And that's because somebody a couple hours up north of us, who is God to any craft brewer, comes out with this beautiful beer called Celebration, And I feel like...
Any bells doesn't...
No
idea.
Nothing. No. I mean, typical beer writer.
It's okay.
It's all right. No, I absolutely love that
Small
beer.
little place.
Changes every year. It's just one of my favorite styles of beer. And as a New Mexican, I will say the Marble Red is a better red ale. I like Celebration. I love Celebration. The Marble Red Ale is the beer that got me brewing. Right at 21, not a day younger, I had this beer.
It's so weird how that keeps coinciding.
It's just perfect. Like that day I found it. It was created that day.
Like someone's like, oh, he turned 21. You know what we should bring him? It's this Marble Red.
This Marble Red. Yeah.
I mean, it's what he earned.
But this Marble was just this tiny little brewery, on 2nd and Marble in downtown Albuquerque, and now they're brewing I think they're 50 or 60,000 barrels a year. They're one of the largest producers out of Albuquerque. They have 3 or 4 locations all over town. Just wonderful company. Ted Rice is from this Northern California originally, moved back out there and is doing what he's doing out there. And not to say an ode to them, but that's the beer that got me going. So home brewing is where I got my start, which this Friday, the 8th, is the 40th anniversary of the American Homebrewers Association. Nice. What Charlie Papazian started, which I think is amazing because none of us would be here today without that organization getting going and lobbying to legalize homebrewing, which just fueled the craft boom even more so. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of one thing after another. I worked in kitchens, I worked in barbecue restaurants, up to fine dine. I was a head chef before. Oh shit! Before my wife and I made our move out here to Sacramento, which is then when I worked for Rick Mahan, who now I'm neighbors with. I worked for him at the One Speed, right when I moved into town, and got to know everybody that means everything to me here in Sacramento. Like, it was my tie into the Rubicon. I mean, that is that's my culture here in Sac, and they taught me. I mean, they were doing farm to fork before it was. Yeah, back when it still said "City of Trees" on the water.
Yeah,
tower.
before it became a sticker and a marketing thing.
Yeah,
it's just what we grew up
it
with.
was just what it was.
You just called the farm, you just had it delivered.
And I mean that's why I moved out here. This was the Mediterranean of our country, you know. And so if I was going to be in food or anything that had to do with flavor, I knew this is where we needed to be. And so my wife and I moved out here and found UC Davis, and just kind of everything really fell into place, and then worked for the Rubicon, and then working under Scott.
Still here,
and I come with the building. You know?
So do you ever just walk up to Jason like, hey, you're fucking up the seasoning. You need to fix that.
Just to razz him a little bit. You know, but then he loses it, and then he chases me, and like we said, he's quick. So
yeah.
Be like CO2 slinking.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Again, I close the door, turn up the radio, hide in the brewery.
So this is a more fun question I've never been able to ask, because I keep trying to get chefs on the show and schedules don't work out, so I've never had a chef on.
Oh, nice.
And now I've got technically 2. I'm sure other people have been in. Anyway, not the important thing. So what was the food that made you like, okay, I'm going to dedicate myself to culinary arts?
Yeah, do this thing.
And there's you can do it when you're 8. You can do it when you're
pretty much.
37.
I was young. I had a grandfather that he cooked every goddamn event at the church. So it was 3 blocks down the street from us. So by the time I was 6, crab feast for 400, 500 people, I was going down at 6 a.m. Chopping vegetables, hanging with the guys, playing cards. As I got older, staying later on those days. Ended up, by the time I was 13, I was running a crew of like 8 people washing dishes. So I was like getting there at 6, hanging out during the day, then actually helping serve the meal, and then go do the dishes. So I had a couple of cafe jobs through high school and a little bit while I was in college. And I actually worked for FedEx, and by the time I was there here at the Sacramento airport, I had a choice of go to a major ramp like Memphis, Tennessee, Indianapolis, nothing on the West Coast. I did a couple of stints 1 week, and I eventually got burnt out. And I literally actually went across the street to Jack's and got a cook's job, and that just set me on the path. I went to a small program in Chico that was free. It was the same as CCA down in San Francisco, but obviously free.
Yeah.
I actually worked at the Sierra Nevada kitchen while I was up there. And came back to Sacramento, and the instructor, who's kind of been a mentor to me over the years, called me up about 3 months, like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm working at this kitchen, I'm working at this. I had like 3 jobs, just trying, minimum wage, beginning cook. You're just going for it, trying to make anything. He's like, get the fuck out of Sacramento. There's nothing there. And this was just after 9/11, so there was a couple of inroads. He had some contacts in the Bay Area, but because of 9/11 and the economy, all those had collapsed. So I started looking, and I got a chance to go out to the North Bay to Healdsburg. Worked at this restaurant, Tastings. It was the owner, was chef owner. It was me, and we were 4 stars with Michael Bauer. We were top 40s at GAT, all Bay Area. And about 6 months later, they got bought out by Charlie Palmer because of competition. So that was my introduction to really fine dining, and it was just addicting. It was just like, and that place, it was just me and him. There was someone to come and do pastries. There was someone to do lunch service, chop wood for your grill, go. It was all just the 2 of you.
Oh, man.
100 covers, 9-course tasting menus. And I'm like into cooking for like professionally a year and a half, and we were just killing it. By the time I'm 23, I'm running kitchens and bistros in Sonoma and Napa. So that's where that comes from. It has its own addiction between the pace, the work, the stress becomes its own joy in a way. Like a place like this, if it's half empty, it drives me nuts until we get this roar and it's silenced down. It's like it's almost like being on stage in a bit that you have so much energy coming to you.
Yeah, it's like tell me I can't do this room. I can do this room.
Oh yeah, on fire. Yeah. Go.
Yeah, that's definitely the joys of cooking. Idle hands do the devil's work. Like when you're just sitting around, that's when you burn things. That's when the flavorings get off. But when you're churning, and so like my cooking day is working sauté lines, and you've got like 7 or 8 sauté pans going. There you've got you're holding 3 in your hand and you're building 3 different dishes as you're cooking. Like there's no greater joy. And to me, like the fact that I left the kitchen, I went into the brewery, but I didn't have to leave the kitchen. Right? If I need that, I walk through a kitchen every time I go up to the bar to pull something through the taps or this or that. And I mean, I definitely stop on my way. I'm like, hey, man, what you guys working on? Like, oh, you working on this? Like, oh, a little bit more salt. And so it's fun to still have that same thing going on. And I would make jokes with them like, I should work a shift, in the kitchen. Like, no, because then I'll have to work once a week, and then it goes back into that fire of a shift, and that is the adrenaline. That's what it's all about, like the camaraderie.
You guys want me standing over going refire?
I would never have a refire. Don't put that on me.
Tuesday,
never.
I got saute shifts.
No, I'm busy that day. I'm brewing, maybe.
Mark it on the calendar. Tuesday, he's brewing.
I'll be in. I'll just go check on him.
I was going to brew Monday. I'll brew Tuesday instead. But I can't work Monday either.
I'm at a chef competition in Carmel on both those days, so just pick a day.
So there's an empty spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Bennett needs me that day. That's right.
Yeah. Fatherhood calls.
Yeah. It's tough,
I'll
I'm a modern man, guys. I'm a modern man.
Yeah.
Take care of my boy.
Yeah.
Remind me. I need to bring some beer down there.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? What got you into the culinary world?
Oh man, it was right from the get-go. I've known nothing else. I've only ever worked in restaurant settings. I got my first job at 14 at a barbecue restaurant, cooking 25 cases of brisket a day, which is 6 brisket per case at this barbecue restaurant. It's a Texas restaurant out of when I was working in Albuquerque called Rudy's Barbecue. And it's just it's like a meat market kind of style. We had these 2 big J&R smokers, so the same smokers that Urban Roots is using. Nice. So we had 2 of them, and just churning constantly. If it wasn't full of turkey breast and chicken and pork loin or baby backs and St. Louis style ribs, then it was just loaded full of brisket. The dark bark rub. Oh man, that's my single favorite dish is smoked brisket in a sandwich, just on its own, untrimmed, trim, fat side, lean side, any which way. I just absolutely shredded with barbecue sauce on a sandwich by itself.
When you say barbecue sauce,
what
do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean barbecue sauce?
I mean ketchup based. Peppery as can be, spicy, a hint of vinegar, meaning tons of tomato. Yeah. Nah,
Jason,
I wasn't
ketchup
ketchup based. That's hard.
Maybe on not this time here, but not barbecue sauce. Like I said, I work for FedEx. I spent a lot of time in Tennessee and Kentucky and down in Carolina, so it's like vinegar and some seasoning, and that's it. Maybe a little sugar.
Yeah. So and I'm Texas style. I'm all about the dry rub. With a low and slow smoke, and then sauce on the side. Better be spicy.
Oh, it'll be spicy.
Oh,
look,
better be spicy.
I am not an expert, and I understand
everybody's a barbecue expert.
I understand the viewpoints. I'm going with Chris on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, the ketchup, man. It's just
tomato based. It's got to be a tomato based barbecue sauce. Man. Yeah. It's got to be. No, I love pulled pork with a sweet mustard sauce. Ooh, yeah.
What's a sweet mustard sauce? It's got to be spicy, man.
Well, touche.
Look,
I'm easily swayed.
I'm not going to say.
As long as it's dry rub, I don't care.
Yeah. We're not slathering that.
Tank house. I like Tank House because they have 5 sauces, right? Yeah. Because by the time I get through all 5, my meat's gone. They were all good.
Yeah.
It was good. As long as the meat's good, as long as it's a good dry rub, that's all I care about.
That's really true.
I just want a good dry rub and then options from there.
Yeah, like ideally,
so
no
a
sauce.
Good dry rub.
Don't take it there, Jason. Too late. Like how Ben's just uh-oh.
I'm just over here, just going, yeah.
So Ben, do you have soft palms?
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
I've never. I once got complimented on my delicate hands, which was the most emasculating thing. So 7-year-old man, he's like, you have never worked labor. I'm like, untrue. I just haven't done it in a long time.
Recently. Yeah.
15 years of not labored. Good point.
Attention all Barley and Me fans, the Art of Beer Invitational is back. Join me at Sacramento's favorite beer event on Friday, January 25th, 2019 at McClellan Conference Center. The event will feature unlimited pours from more than 30 top breweries, small bites from local restaurants, and a brewer's silent auction. The proceeds from that auction will benefit the Make-A-Wish Northeastern and Central California, as well as Northern Nevada chapters. VIP and general admission tickets are on sale now at artofbeerinvitational.com. That's artofbeerinvitational.com. Friday, January 25th, 2019.
My mom used to say that me and Manuel don't get along too well.
Yeah.
You know,
Manuel
labor. Yeah. Which there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that.
Well, my stupid thing was, you know how you you rebel as a teenager? Yeah, so everybody in my family was like musical and could cook and like was really good with their hands. Like, I'm going to do none of that. This will never bite me.
And now here you
fix
are.
that. Fix that.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
I like watch people build a car from scratch and like not paying attention. Like, you need to watch. Like, I'm not. Holding the light for sure. Don't care what you're doing. This is what I'm doing. I'm not listening. Like, just the
I'll
thing.
share it with people. But
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know any of this. I can't do any of this, and you're welcome. The dumbest rebellion I've ever. I'm so mad at myself. I want a time machine just go like, pay attention, man. You'd be good at stuff.
I thought about if I could forget some of the like stupid 80s songs that we have memorized, and I could remember the like structure of the yeast cell just that much better. I know what the yeast cell needs to survive, but breaking it down in a diagram, it's going to take some time.
Sometimes you have to be a useless knowledge.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what I.
It helps
I've
when you're
seriously
naming beers.
forgotten way too many cooking recipes. Made it 1,000 times. What's in that?
I don't know. Let me look at my notes.
Yeah.
Which notebook is it in? Damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I know you guys probably have to go and things, but I'm just going to ask, what are your youthful rebellions?
I don't think I got as much trouble as this guy did. I was the younger kid, right? So I saw my sister get in a lot of trouble, which meant that I learned how to not get in trouble.
Yeah, circumvent
which
the law.
Didn't mean that I didn't do things wrong, but they've only been thrown in my face by family members, not so much by legal matters.
Right.
You know,
There might have been a catch and release program with the police department for a minute of my life, but
I had to move. I had to move middle schools.
Oh, middle school.
I had to move middle schools. Like fresh into 6th grade. Like
I feel
like my parents knew what was
traveling
coming, so they just took
in
me
my late teens. I worked for FedEx, so it's like my rebellion was like, screw you. I'm going to jump a train, a plane, and go to Memphis and go drink on Beale Street when I'm 19.
That sounds fun. Yeah,
but that was like the 60s though.
Yeah,
things were crazy back then.
Yeah.
Hey, watch it.
Back when it was black and white, right?
Yeah.
He's old.
Dick.
I'm cornered between him and the window, so
yeah,
I should watch
nowhere
myself.
to go.
This is that Fast for a Fat Man comes out.
I'm feisty though.
Yeah.
He's
scrappy.
Yeah, scrappy. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. What are you doing? Looking for the other half of this glass. There's some more. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
All right. I think you guys have big plans for the night. I think I'm going to let you guys go prep for that.
We got some parties coming.
So I guess,
fun.
where can people find out more about Alaro?
Well, there's a wonderful website called alarobrewing.com. There's the amazing media of Instagram, Facebook.
Definitely. The social media is obviously the way that we tell everything that's happening.
Nobody goes to websites anymore.
Yeah. Our
That's
website.
why I said it first.
Our website is definitely for that full information, right? When you're looking for beer descriptions for our menu, if your office is located in Midtown, you can find our food menu on the website.
You can see what version we're offering.
Yes,
yeah,
you can order from us. Call it in. We'll have it ready for you.
Make a wonderful reservation.
it's definitely much better for you to come in and take a table, sit for an hour. But we
Poke
can
around.
Yeah, we can take care of you quickly.
Flights, pints, growlers, good times.
Anything that we can offer you to heighten your day, right?
And don't forget,
Not
I don't
anything,
know.
but
I'm going to
most
say this,
things.
even though I don't know why these people will be listening to my podcast. If you're not a beer person, you guys do offer wines and ciders.
We do. Well, that's the biggest thing. Like with
It's a full
with our
experience.
table, we're more than a brewery. We're more than a tap room. That is the right behind you, the Alaro Craft Brewery. It is about the craft, right? So we put a lot of attention into our food. The wine list, Ray and Annette spend a lot of time sampling. It's really difficult for us. All these new bottles of wine coming in, and we have to taste them and just make sure that they're
evaluate them
perfect. We
constantly.
have to, and
I mean, do they live up to our gold medal beer?
That's right. And then we have a lot of plans for the future too. We just got our new coffee. So we're doing French press coffee, and so everything that you could possibly want at this table, there is somebody local that is doing it exactly how it should be done. And so us being a full restaurant, we're allowed to serve anything that we want. So as much as it is about us making beer, it's about filling this table with just quality libations.
We are legal vice merchants. You want
We are
beer?
legal
You
vice
want wine? You want to be gluttonous with food?
Most
How about some caffeine?
legal vices.
We have
Right.
Well, that's
Jason, the
true.
times they
It's
are changing.
2018. Get that license, Chris. Get
Stay tuned.
on. Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, in due time, my friends. There's a lot of flavors and in essential oils and terpenes
Yeah.
that can
The
be
green
used.
menu.
Yeah. There are
In due time.
cousins that might
In due
come
time.
visit once in a while.
In due time. In due time.
Yeah. And I guess now that you've brought up the coffee thing, are there going to be any coffee rubbed foods
Ooh,
available?
Yeah.
Oh, there may be. I've been known to
Why
have
not?
a coffee rub barbecue brisket.
Yeah. I love that. Chipotle and coffee go really well together.
Chili with an I, right?
I will kill you. For everybody out there, chili is spelled, especially when you're talking about the chili pepper. This is my New Mexican coming out just in one hot thing of fury. Chili is spelled with an E. Chile, like the country, spelled like the country, but we're referring to a chili pepper. Chili with an I has ground beef and beans in it, and that comes from our bordered neighbor. They're okay. They're all right. Texas chili is all right. It's not New Mexico chili, though. It's completely different.
Chili.
It's very important to me.
Now
Aye.
I've
Chili
seen
with an E.
chili with two L's and an I. How do we feel about that?
No comment.
Is that a chain?
Yeah.
I feel like there's no reason for that.
That's just somebody who didn't.
It's a typo. It's
you
a
just
typo.
didn't look at Google.
Yeah.
Like Google it, man. If you Google it, chili is spelled with an E.
You have
New
the power
Mexico,
of Google.
chili. Just say. Very important, people. It's a very important thing. If me as a native New Mexican can teach anybody anything, it's that chili is spelled with an E.
Yeah.
I digress.
And if I want to throw in anything at the end here, I'm going to point out that you guys have this beer that won like a plaque or something.
I believe it was a gold medal, actually.
Gold medal.
Yeah.
for the Beer Olympics or whatever it was. But I didn't drink that tonight. I've had it before. It's very good, obviously. But today I had your oat flaked.
Nice. Yeah,
IPA.
our oat. So oats are my favorite thing to use in beer. I think it adds a certain, I wouldn't say flavor, but a mouthfeel, a velvety texture to the beer that then I feel like helps hops kind of elongate on the palate as if it were. So instead of having all that bitterness and sharpness up front, we're able to kind of help those hops carry along a little bit more, and so you're able to get more of these subtle nuances out of those hops. A great for the mouthfeel. It brings the malt character more. Hops dance on it better. And so this one, oat pale ale, is 20% oats. That's usually they recommend you don't go higher than 20% in a beer because of efficiency problems. But then again, they're coming. People are coming.
They're coming.
They're coming.
And I have a very important.
Yeah,
So, how do you pronounce the name of that beer?
So the Ballesta.
See, that's what I thought. and I was like, I'm going to half-ass it.
Yeah. So the Ballesta is the logo behind you. The
crossbow logo.
The crossbow, right? So our owner, the Ray Ballestero. Ballestero is Spanish for crossbowman, and then a ballesta is a Spanish crossbow. Nice. And so then our Spanish medieval ties to the Alaro Castle, which is on the island of Majorca. Ray's ancestor was the Lord of Castle Alaro, and so we kind of wanted to play along that kind of theme, which is the Castillo, the castle. That's our house beer, right? The Ballesta is the reference to the crossbow, reference to his name. I feel like that's kind of our trendy option, and so that beer is Galaxy Galaxy, Mosaic, and Citra, which you kind of just buy the beer at that point. It's just the 3 top hops in the market, and I feel like we went under the radar on that. I'm actually on the last keg right now, and so everyone's like, "Man, that beer is amazing! I didn't know you had that on tap." I'm like, man, I've had that on tap for 2 months, and so. I'm adamant against the haze craze. I think
Oats can kind of do that. You guys are like, no, we're not going to let it do that.
Yeah, and so and I mean, I follow the brewing principles as they were, and so I like to make beer the way that we're supposed to make beer. I'm not going to do anything to the beer to force anything to stay in suspension. I want this beer to finish out and fine naturally. I don't do any filtration to my beer. Even my Pilsner, I use a little bit of finings. I use half the dosing that they normally recommend. So just a little bit to get the yeast to drop out, but most of that's happening naturally through temperature and through time. And so, it takes us a little bit longer to make beer. We're not churning it out as quickly and easily, but I feel like that makes our beer more balanced. It makes it more refined. And I'm not a trendy person, so I'm not going to make trendy beer. I
mean, you've had that flannel since 1994.
Hey man, this is Target.
91, man.
This is Target.
Don't let me
jump on. He's not jumping on.
Youngster.
This is a Massimo, baby. This is Target.
Oh Jesus, 1997.
Yeah.
You were close there. Yeah. So I would just want to point out that beer is delicious. I loved it a whole lot. It was exactly what I wanted when I walked in the room. And then I also had the Bennett.
Nice.
Beautiful. And I really wanted, you already touched on the naming convention is kind of family, is kind of the naming convention for your beers.
Of course. Yeah.
Cool.
And so I feel like that's where the Spanish tie really comes in. So when you think of what kind of beer there is in Spain, I think of German lagers, right? And so we're in California. We're gonna be making California style beer, IPAs, pales, porters, stouts. Rubicon was known for their the Irish stout on nitro, and so I definitely wanted to have a stout on nitro, but I didn't want to make the same beer. So came out with the oatmeal stout. We call it the La Luna, but we have this awesome moon face that's up above our beer board that actually used to hang at a Macy's in San Francisco for I want to say for decades. I might be adding years to its tenure there, but
it's been 3 months.
A friend donated.
He got fired
it to
after
us.
2 days.
Yeah. And so it's kind of fun to look up there every time. And our little beer signs. The moon is always. There it is. The moon is a loyal companion. And so this guy that's just kind of overlooking everything. But then the Avenida. So we're located on 2004 Capitol Avenue. Capitol is the only avenue in the grid. Everything else is streets. Yeah. And so I feel like that's something unique to us, that we're the only avenue here. And so, the Avenida, the Castillo I mentioned, the Ballesta we talked about, the Potrero is named after, so it's our California common.
Yeah.
So similar to a little tip of the cap to the Anchor and everything that they've done. We love amber ales. Everybody loves an amber, but nobody drinks an amber. If an amber is not on the menu, people are like, "Oh, your board's incomplete." As soon as it's there, it's like, "Oh man, it's beautiful." We use Admiral malting on that. We use local hops from a local hop farmer here on that one. We use the 802. I think is the yeast strain, but the San Francisco lager yeast. So all California grown ingredients. And it's a real sense of pride, to be able to do a beer like that.
our menu descriptions are more straightforward.
Yes. I found that to be very much the case.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
guys.
a burger.
It's a burger. It's a beer.
I know you guys need to get out of here, so this has been episode 89 of Barley and Me. You can follow Barley and Me across social media at Barley and Me Pod. Email questions, comments, concerns, can maybe guest ideas, brewer ideas, Barley and Me Podcast at gmail.com, because I'm not a good planner. Thank you so much, Jason Azevedo.
Thank you.
And Chris Keeton.
Thank you for
Alaro Brewing. Thanks so much for coming
Thanks for
on.
coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for listening. Get home safe.
All right.
Cheers.
Awesome.